So if you feel like you're drowning in AI news lately, you're not wrong. But here's the thing, these aren't just random product drops. What we're actually watching are strategic moves in a super high-stakes competition. Let's open up the briefing files on this AI arms race and see who's really building the most powerful new tools. And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi fantasy. This race is already changing our world in ways we're just now starting to wrap our heads around. I mean, we're at a point where the movies we watch can be algorithmically changed after they've already left the theater. Wild.
So where's the main front line in this whole thing? Well, it's right here, with two of the biggest names in the game. This clash of titans is pretty much setting the pace for everybody else.
And right out of the gate, you can see two totally different playbooks. On one side, you've got Google just unleashing a storm of real-world products you can use right now. And on the other, you've got OpenAI playing the long game, teasing these huge foundational breakthroughs like GPT-6 that are still on the horizon. So let's dig into Google's playbook first. Their focus is all about practical stuff you can use immediately. Like, imagine calling a hotel in Tokyo, you're speaking English, but they hear your actual voice speaking perfect Japanese in real time, or your phone just knowing to pop up your flight info when the airline calls. These are tools built for everybody, and they're rolling out today. But OpenAI? Oh, they are not sitting on their hands. Their CEO, Sam Altman, is already dropping hints about GPT-6, and he's pointed to their next big target, memory. Think about it. If an AI can actually remember your past conversations, your preferences, your context, that's the absolute key to creating a truly personal AI agent. It's a huge long-term bet against Google's here and now product push. Now, speaking of hype, we gotta keep things in perspective here. OpenAI made waves recently, claiming its new model solved some big math problem. But a math professor at UCLA basically said, hold on a sec. Yeah, it's amazing for an AI, but it's not some revolutionary new math. A PhD student could knock it out in a couple of hours. It just goes to show you how intense the hype cycle is in this race. Okay, but this whole race isn't just about the big guys, the Goliaths. There's a whole new front opening up with these specialized tools that are built for very specific jobs and very specific people, like software developers. It's not just about who has the biggest AI, but who can build the most useful one. And to really get why this next part is a huge deal, we need to talk about a key idea: agentic systems. We're moving way beyond simple chatbots that just answer one question at a time. We're talking about systems that can actually create a plan with multiple steps, carry it out, and, this is the crazy part, fix its own mistakes along the way. So check this out. A new tool called CodeLMM-CLI basically puts this into practice. It's like an orchestra conductor for other AIs. First, it makes a plan. Then it brings in the heavy hitters, using one model for raw coding power and another one for sharp reasoning to get the job done. And it even debugs itself. So what's the big deal? Why does this even matter? Well, this agent can take one simple command and build an entire working app. For example, a tool that lets you upload and chat with your own PDFs. Now that's something that would normally take a human developer days of tedious work. This thing does it in minutes. All right, so this whole arms race isn't just for developers in dark rooms. It's also putting a whole new arsenal of tools into the hands of creators, and it's completely changing how we make and even experience media. I mean, just look at some of these tools. Google's new Imagen 4 can whip up a multi-panel comic book with text you can actually read, all from one prompt. Then there's a tool called Higgsfield that can drop a 3D object into any video clip you want, like, say, adding a lifesaver to a scene in Titanic. And Runway now lets you create your own interactive text adventure games, like one where you have to escape the office by microwaving salmon. I'm not kidding. And yeah, the business side of this is, honestly, it's kind of mind-blowing. We're talking about the ability to digitally put any product into any movie, even years after it was made. That classic scene from your favorite movie could suddenly have a can of some new energy drink on the table. The line between art and advertising is getting very, very blurry. Okay, so far, everything we've talked about has been digital, right? Pixels on a screen. Well, the next battleground, it's the real world. The race is officially on to give these AIs bodies so they can walk around and interact with us. And you can't talk about robots without talking about Boston Dynamics. They're famous for those viral videos of robots that are insanely capable and maybe a little bit unsettling. They've definitely earned their reputation as, well, the OG of creepy robots. And their new stuff is just getting more and more advanced.
But they're not the only players in town. There's a new humanoid robot out there called Alex, and this thing can lift over 30 kilograms. That's about 66 pounds. It's a pretty clear sign of just how strong and capable these machines are getting.
And the wild part, the thing that's kind of funny about this Alex robot, in the videos, it seriously looks like it's flexing its traps, you know? Maybe robot bodybuilding competitions aren't that far off after all. You could really see all this progress on full display at the World Robotics Championships recently. The robot that won the long jump did a perfect Mario jump. The solo dance winner did a routine that I can only describe as Margaritaville style. But besides all the fun, one big trend was crystal clear. China is absolutely dominating this space, both in the number of robots and in how innovative they are. So we've gone from our screens to our physical world. And now for the final frontier in this AI arms race, the space inside our own minds. This is where things get really personal and really profound.
I mean, with all this happening so fast, you gotta step back and ask the big question, where is all of this actually taking us? What's the end game here?
Well, get this. Researchers at Stanford have a brain implant that can actually decode a person's inner voice, their silent thoughts, with 74% accuracy. Now, for people with paralysis, this could be absolutely life-changing. But okay, that immediately brings up a huge question. What about privacy? To deal with that, the researchers have already built something straight out of science fiction, a neural password. It's a mental command, a thought you can have that locks or unlocks your inner monologue from being broadcast. And look, this isn't just about the future. This kind of deep connection to AI is already happening right now. There are whole online communities where people talk about forming real, deep emotional relationships with AI companions. And they talk about feeling genuine grief and loss when the AI gets an update and its personality suddenly changes. These are real human bonds being formed with code.
So this is where it all leads, isn't it? This AI arms race isn't just about building a better search engine or a cooler robot. It's leading us to a world where our movies can be changed on the fly, where our private thoughts could one day be read, and where our closest friends might not even be human. So that leaves us with one final massive question to think about. What happens to our shared reality when reality itself becomes this easy to rewrite?